That's it now. All good to go again. Everyone back in there now, yeah. Yeah, they're all coming back on there now. Okay, members, and okay, all good to go. Okay, we took the decision there now between all the members, and Philip Kingston, our council solicitor, will read out the decision there and give the reason.
Thank you, Chair. So in confidential business, members considered the application for an entertainment licence and were conscious that whilst a number of objections had been expressed in relation to the matter, they had to focus on matters which were pertinent to the entertainment licence and which might not be pertinent to other regimes. Members were therefore minded to grant the entertainment licence, and an entertainment licence will issue in due course once COVID restrictions allow. Because members were felt slightly disadvantaged by the fact that the police officer with particular knowledge of this matter had not been able to attend campaign because of the level of concerns which had been raised by the objectors, the members have decided that they will grant the licence for 6-month period at this stage rather than the normal 12-month period. And then we'll consider the matter again in due course. That 6-month period will run from when the licence issues, which again, as I say, will not be until such time as COVID restrictions apply.
Okay, thank you, Philip, for summing that up there. Much appreciated. So I'd just like to say thank all the members, and I would also like to thank Michael Fahey and Jacqueline Robinson for putting their case forward today. I'd also like to thank Jeanette McGonigal. I know it's not easy to come in and give evidence in front of so many people. It's a daunting task, and it takes quite a brave person to come in and do it. So well done. I don't know whether you'll be happy with the outcome or not, but that's what the members decided, and I'm sure we can leave it there and thank all the members for taking part in it today. I think that covers everything then. Philip has covered the situation. So thank you, everyone. And we'll leave it there at that. Thank you. Okay, everyone. Does anyone want to take a comfort break at the minute?
Yes, please. Quick one.
Yeah. Okay. Well, 5 minutes then, and we'll all be back again then, and then we'll get it over. Okay. Okay, members, everyone back? Ready to go then? Yeah.
Sure, we'll be getting our supper.
I have a Liverpool United match to watch. It's dragging on too long this year.
United's 1-1 nothing, so
I just seen it there. I switched it on in the background somehow. Maybe better at the meeting. Okay, members. We'll continue then with the rest of the meeting. So we'll go to chairperson's business. Okay, so, and I'll start off. As this is my last meeting as Chair of Health and Communities, I would like to thank Karen, Barry and Seamus, and Paul, the two Pauls today as well, for all their assistance, and the rest of the Health and Communities team, especially Lorraine, for keeping me right all along. Although looking at today's agenda, I don't think he's were letting me go lightly. It's been a challenging year for all council officers, departmental staff, leisure staff, neighbourhood partnerships and community groups. All have gone above and beyond to help others and should be commended for their stellar work. I'd like to thank Raymond Barr for his assistance in his role as Vice Chair, and to all the members of the committee who have made my role as Chair a real pleasure to carry out, and these have all been very supportive. And of course, I've had the unusual pleasure of chairing two committees in one term, so it would be remiss of me not to thank John, Alfie, Ellen, and the governance and strategic planning team, as well as Nuala and all the committee members from that as well. So I'll just move on. I have two people who want to bring up a chairperson's business. The first one is Councillor Edwards. So, Councillor Edwards, if you would like to go ahead.
Chair, I think there's people on looking to get in. They wish you well, and I wish you well. So you've been more than fair, Chair. But I think there's people before me. But just like your predecessor, former Alderman McCain, you've been very fair and you've been very friendly, and myself as well, more than accommodating. So well done over the time that you were Chair, and I wish you well, Chair. Thank you.
Chair, you were on right there. Were you bringing me in?
Yeah.
Chair, I have to agree with the previous speaker there, and I just want to wish you well. You have been a very fair chair, and I'm on governance as well, so I've had a full year of you as chair. So no, congratulations on your year as chair. You handled the committees very well, and they are challenging times, and both committees have significant business on them, so you had a lot to get through. And particularly in the challenging times and virtual world and all that sort of stuff. But I would also like to pay tribute as well to Andy, as the previous chair in this committee. He also was a very fair chair, and I got on very well with him. So congratulations to you both. And if you see Andy, pass on our regards.
I will indeed, Sandra. I will indeed, and you're quite right about Andy as well. He was here up to when October, November time, and he done a great job as well. I'll pass on your regards to him. Thank you. Alderman Devaney.
Thank you, Chair, for allowing me in. And just like the previous speaker, I would like you to commend you in your time, I was going to say, for the year, but it has been sort of a short year. But look, I just want to say you've been very, very fair in your handling of the business. And as the previous speaker said, some difficult business to get through, but well done to you.
Thank you, Morris. Councillor Ferguson.
Chair, and I'll keep it sweet, but short. I just wanted to say, well done on your chair of this committee, and obviously Alderman McKean, you have been a very fair chair, and you've been very accommodating with any chair's business and very approachable. So thank you for being the chair for the last term.
Thank you, Rachel. Councillor Barr.
Thank you, Chair. I'd just like to endorse everything that everyone has said there before me. Very impartial, very fair chair. Thank you very much for your assistance of your term.
Thank you, Raymond. So there are no more indicated speakers, so we'll go to Councillor Edwards now. He was looking to bring up an item.
Thanks for letting me in. Thanks for letting me raise this issue. It's regarding AFA summer camp in Strabane that has been run in previous years in Melvin, and there's also an Easter camp there. It attracts hundreds of kids from the local area who attend a full week of games provided by AFA coaches. And it's my understanding that the lead coach in the AFA went to pick Melvin for a full week, from Monday to Friday from 10 AM to 1 PM, and was told by management at Melvin that it won't be open. The centre won't be open on Fridays until 2 PM. And that if it was to open any earlier, that the AFA would have to pay for staff, and this exceeded the AFA's budget available for the pitch hire. So the AFA, I think, have gone to the Strabane Academy instead. But given that the camp isn't, or the camp isn't until mid-July, I think it was the end of March that they tried to book it and reallocate staff. Yeah, I do think, Chair, that apologies for that. I do think, Chair, that Council should, especially in Melvin, look at re-engaging with AFA staff, because as people know on this meeting, the Windsor Park's hosting the European Super Cup this year, and the Champions League trophy and the Europa League trophy will be paraded around these summer camps. And I think that Melvin would be a better pitch, a better area and facility to highlight this and give some good publicity council, especially given the investment that's gone into Melvin locally. And it would actually allow for young children across the wider Strabane Derry area an opportunity to experience what would be a one-off event and seeing these trophies. But I would just like to get an update from officers on what the case is. I understand that there are two stories to everything, but I do think that this is a missed opportunity for the wider Strabane area and for this council. I would have a proposal to re-engage with AFA, but I would like to hear what officers have to say first, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Edwards. Would you like to come in, Karen? I have a few speakers there first, or
are they on the same issue, Chair? I'll wait if they are.
Just Councillor Barr's looking in there.
Thank you, Chair. I'd just really like to reiterate what Councillor Edwards has just said. You know, it seems a big loss that Strabane's major sports centre is missing out on the opportunity to showcase this event. You know, particularly as Councillor Edwards has said there, the fact that the Champions League trophy and the Europa trophy are going to be paraded around the various venues. You know, I just think we're missing out on a great opportunity by what appears to be a wee bit of inflexibility. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Barr. I have no other indication. Oh, sorry, Rory. Councillor McKee, you're next there.
Problem, Chair, thank you. Just in the same vein of the previous two speakers there, Chair, it would seem a great shame to lose out on a fantastic event, you know, over the sake of 1 hour opening on a Friday. But obviously there may be implications that we're not fully across, maybe in terms of employment contracts or that, you know. So, you know, agree with the previous speakers, you know, it'd be a shame not to have this event, you know, utilising one of our own great facilities in the area. So we'll be keen to hear just what the officer has to say on it. Thank you.
clearer. Thank you. Karen, if you want to come in there now.
Yeah, Chair, I'll make a few general comments and then Barry can speak to the detail of that. We have a really positive working relationship with the IFA and indeed with other governing bodies. And we've started a process of meeting with those individually in terms of how we reset and transform our sports and leisure services going forward as part of the COVID recovery, and how we can work together in collaboration, both with governing bodies, but also with the respective club bases that they have. So a few weeks ago, I was in contact with the Chief Executive of IFA, who gave us that commitment that they were very keen to work with us. And in fact, this morning, Barry and myself and some of our team met with our local Northwest representative to talk through those opportunities. So there is that we've been touching on are the summer camps, games development, club development, coach education, player development, and the full range of training opportunities that come through the IFA. So we're certainly very much in that space of wanting to see soccer promoted, but also for the other sports that utilise the Melvin site in terms of Gaelic, in terms of rugby and athletics, to be similarly engaged. So just to give you reassurance, members, that we are there at the table. And Barry, maybe you want to pick up just in terms of the specifics of the summer camps. Thanks.
Thanks, Karen. Through yourself, Chair. Yeah, Councillor Edwards and other speakers, we are aware of the specific issue, as Karen has highlighted. We had a meeting with Kevin this morning as well, Karen and myself. Yeah, the facility is available. The difficulty with this, the management team at Melvin are just applying our pricing policy, and when you open up outside of opening hours, you charge for the staff coming in for those couple of hours, and that's as per our pricing policy. So we do that with a number of facilities, as members will be aware. We would have a lot of requests right throughout the district, and a number of our facilities, particularly when fixtures are outside of ours, at grass pitches or like a Tampamore Gaelic pitch and things like that. So we can always accommodate bookers, and we can always get staff, even be it casual or whatever it may be. But as per pricing policy, what we normally do is we charge for that staff resource as well as the hourly rate. So the IFA determined that they didn't want to pay that price that we had provided them with. But look, we're happy to engage. We're happy to engage again and see, is there sometimes there's solutions to this, engaging with our sports development team or community development team or whoever it may be, to see can external funding or other funding be sourced to pay for that staff resource or for the facility hire costs for a day or a week or whatever. So we're happy to explore that, in terms of, but what the staff at Melvin have done is just apply our pricing policy to any booking. Thanks, Chair.
You, Barry, for that there. Councillor Edwards, you want it back in there again?
Yep, thanks, Chair. It is disappointing to hear that it is the pricing and the extra staff. And I would just like to ask, this has been held in Melvin for years, from what I believe. It's been held there for years, and it's become a main focal point, especially for youth in the area. And I would be very disappointed in this council if they weren't able to accommodate having this event at Melvin. And I'm unsure, Chair, if I can make a proposal, not if it's pricing policy, but I would like council to engage with the IFA again and offer, like previous years, the same sort of service there, regardless of what additional costs there are today. I just think that Strabane, the wider Strabane area, Derry shouldn't lose out on this, Chair. Thank you.
I suppose, Chair, we'll reinforce we are actively involved in those discussions at the moment. So certainly, Councillor, will pick up on them again over the coming days, but this will obviously be a longer term conversation as we plan, for a new fully active programme on our Melbourne site.
Okay, thank you, Karen. Alderman Hussey.
Just a quick comment. Did I hear correctly that failing Melbourne, Strabane Academy will be used? So in fact, the area doesn't lose out. But it's obviously better if council can be seen to be cooperating with the governing body of the major sport in Northern Ireland. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Hussey. No further speakers, so we'll move on. So, Councillor Harkin, you want to bring an item up?
Thanks, Chair. And I also wanted to add my thanks to you for your chairing over the last year. As everybody else said, you're a very, very fair chair. I think you're a very good chair. There is no wrangling when you're chair. We get through our business, and you know, it should be maybe the darn guy school of chairing, because a good chair can help make a meeting a lot easier for everybody. So thanks for being accommodating and fair. And I wanted to raise an issue of workers' rights, and I have a proposal there, and I'll just pop it in. And I'll be brief in terms of motivating it, because the meeting's been a lot longer than I thought it would be tonight, and I know there's a Manchester United Liverpool game on. We might not get there, but we could try for the second half. People may have seen that Hovis workers are planning to go on strike tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. And the reason why this is important is because Hovis is a very prominent brand. You know, walk into most supermarkets or shops, and you're going to have Hovis in there. And right now, the issue of pay is on a lot of people's minds. These workers are demanding a 10% pay increase, and management are coming nowhere close. So they've been forced into a situation where they're planning to do all-out strike action tomorrow. It's both Unite members and the Bakers Union doing it together. Now, a couple of issues for us. One is they're asking for pay parity with workers in Britain, and I think that that's a very, very fair demand. And so the 10% increase is about moving them towards basic pay parity with their counterparts who work for Hovis in England, Scotland, and Wales. And I think it would say, if they get a decent pay increase, I think that this is what many groups of workers are asking for, from nurses, health service workers, council workers, education workers. So I think we should support them. There's also the issue of disruption of bread supplies, which both of the unions have raised an issue about. I think the onus is on management to make sure that this is resolved in a speedy way, to make sure that there's not disruption of bread supplies. And there's, just so people know, this is a company that even last year, when we're in the midst of the pandemic, turned a profit of £20 million. So it's not a company that is struggling by any means. And these are workers as well who've worked right throughout the pandemic. So I think it'd be an important message for us as a council to say that we're on the side of these workers. And this is the kind of expectation that I think people have now, that we're not going back to the kind of treatment people had prior to the pandemic. And so I think that's why I want to motivate that we give them our support and call for a speedy resolution. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Harkin. Sean, I'm going to ask you, would you like to take at the full council as a motion? Or then it's tomorrow? No, I know what you mean. I know what you're saying. Sorry. No, it's okay. It's okay.
Chair, I'm happy to second that proposal.
Yeah.
If we're happy to just take it now.
Yeah, no, I'm happy to take it now. I realised there that the strike's tomorrow, so it is. No, happy enough for that there. Rachel, happy to support. Does anyone else want to speak in this, or is everyone happy enough?
Happy to support, Chair.
Yeah, okay. So,
Chair, I'm happy enough too to support. It's good to see the councillor supporting British workers.
happy enough to support too. So I think that's unanimous from everyone. So motion passes. Councillor Harkin, you want to speak there? Are you all right with it, or is this all you had to say?
Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Chair.
No bother, no bother. So we'll move on to matters arising from open minutes of Health and Community held Thursday 15th. And for accuracy, has anyone any matters they would like to bring up?
Chair.
Go ahead, Councillor Harkin.
Councillor McHugh.
Oh, sorry.
First, I'll go next.
I know it's okay. Go ahead, Councillor McHugh, then. Go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. It's just in relation to the item there about the return to sport. It raised us yesterday at Byron Committee, Byron Regeneration Committee, sorry. And obviously it has implications for this department as well, but it's just obviously welcoming the return to sport down at Strabane playing pitches. That has led obviously now to traffic, increase in traffic, and it's causing blockages on the Bay Road adjacent to Strabane playing fields. Cars are double parking there on the road, so it's essentially I'm asking department officers could they investigate the possibility of increasing parking capacity within Strabane playing pitches, whether that be with some stone hardfill in the meantime, so that would allow for more vehicles to obviously enter the playing fields down there and take them off the main road. Thank you.
Thank you, Ray, for that there. Karen, do you want to come in there on that?
We're happy to take that on board, members, and do some investigation and come back to you.
Okay. Councillor Harkin.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. This is in regards to HC 97/21. And look, we've had a lot of discussions about policing and the PSNI and a number of things. And there is a protest happening here in the Guildhall on Saturday. It's an emergency action for Palestine. And I just want to appeal for the right to protest to be respected on Saturday, because there's been large protests over the last week in response to what's happening in Jerusalem and also in Gaza. So I think that there's going to be probably a bigger turnout as we've seen in many other places, London, Dublin, Belfast over the last few days. People are going to come out to speak up about the issue of Palestine. And we've had situations around Black Lives Matter, which we've discussed at length, where people's right to protest wasn't protected or respected, even when there was social distancing, even when people were wearing masks. So I think as a council, we should call for the right to protest to be respected on Saturday. And for the, it will be a socially distanced protest. The council doesn't have to agree to support the protest, but I think it can call for the right to protest to be respected and for people's human rights to be respected. So I'm going to put that in as a proposal for us to agree on. Thank you, Chair.
Raymond Barr, second that, yeah. Members, there is a proposal in the chat box there. So, but the screen now.
Chair, we will also be supporting that. The atrocities that we've seen in Gaza and Palestine over recent days, with children being slaughtered, absolutely would support this proposal.
Martin, do you want to speak on the proposal?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks.
go ahead.
I'm obviously happy to see this issue be raised, because as the previous speakers have indicated, it is distressing watching the scenes on TV of the attacks on the Palestinian people and the carnage that's unfolding again in that part of the world. So people will, as Councillor Harkin indicated, want to demonstrate in relation to that. I'm just conscious, Chair, we're in a committee here, anything we decide or do today has to get ratified until full council at the end of the month. So the protest is going to take place on Saturday before this council gets a chance to ratify these minutes here today. So I think the call needs to be for people to protest, but obviously to do it in a way that keeps themselves safe, but demonstrates the strength of feeling against the action that's taking place in that part of the world. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Martin, for that. Is there anyone else looking to speak to this?
Yes, Chair. If
Yeah,
I can here.
go ahead, Ray.
Well, I think the proposal deals with what Councillor Riley's concerns were there, but I do feel it's we can't let this go any longer. What's happening in Palestine is ethnic cleansing, and the world's turning a blind eye to it. So fully support Councillor Harkin's proposal.
Okay, thank you, Raymond. Alderman Devaney.
You, Chair, and on the proposal, look, while I support the ethos of the right to protest, I'm not getting, we're not supporting it because, we talk about Palestine, we have the Israelis out there, and we all know the difficulties that are going on out there. And I think across the world there have been calls for calm and peace. And when we look at the issues within Palestine, and the army that they have there, and look, it's an argument on both sides, so we will not be supporting it, Chair.
Okay, thank you, Morris. Anyone else wish to speak there on it? No. I wouldn't be against anyone's right to peaceful protest about anything, but I still believe that bringing large crowds, and it will attract a large crowd, would be wrong still at this time. And how much can we socially distance if a large crowd does turn up? So I think we probably put this to a vote here.
So Chair, can I clarify, we're voting on the proposal that's on the screen?
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll start the vote then. Alderman Devaney?
Against?
Alderman Guy?
I'm abstaining.
Okay. Alderman Wark?
Against.
Councillor Barr?
For.
Councillor Burke?
For.
Councillor Duffy?
For.
Councillor Edwards?
For, Karen.
Councillor Farrell?
For.
Councillor Ferguson?
Stay, Karen.
Councillor Harkin?
For.
Councillor Logue? Councillor McHugh?
For.
Councillor Mooney?
For.
And Councillor Riley?
For.
So 9 for, 3 abstentions, and 1, oh, sorry, 2 abstent, sorry, but I could go back and count it. I just unless you have counted a chair for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 for, yeah.
Yeah.
Against, 1,
2.
and 2 abstentions. Councillor Guy and Councillor Ferguson.
Yeah, that's it. Happy enough. Long meeting. Alderman Hussey, you're next. Sorry, that there. Obviously, the proposal passes. 9 for, 2 against, and 2 abstentions. You don't want to speak in that, Sean? You happy enough?
Chair, thanks.
Yeah. Okay, Sean. Thanks. Alderman Hussey.
Thank you, Chair. Not a member of the committee, but item HC 100, and it's the reference to the hogweed or the at Sion Mills, which was the recommendation was passed at council. Has there been any movement on that yet, or is it planned that there will be movement on the recommendation? Thank you.
Chair, we referred the matter to the Environment and Regeneration Directorate on the 15th of April. So we'll seek an update for them and circulate that to all members tomorrow.
Thank you, Karen. Councillor Edwards.
Chair, thanks for letting me in. HC 104, the reopening of outdoor pitches. And I have 2 issues, Chair, I would like to raise. The first one is in relation to the Glebe playing pitch, and I know that there was issues there last week with, I think it was the Derry team playing a Strabane team, but local residents have raised antisocial behaviour on those pitches, and the police aren't dealing with it. They're noise complaints, and the police aren't dealing with it because it's before 11 o'clock. So I'm wondering, is there anything that council can do in that regard? Also, Chair, in relation to HC 104, and I raised this at full council about the alleged abuse of staff. Firstly, on a matter of accuracy on that, it's not actually included in the minutes, but the speakers to that afterwards, councillors to that afterwards are referring to condemning it. And at full council, I did raise concern about not having all the facts of the alleged abuse, but I do understand that the issue in question, especially in Strabane, has thankfully been resolved now. But at the time, I was quoted in the local media as condemning it, and of course I condemn all abuse towards any council staff. But I just thought we could have been furnished with the full facts before the condemnation, because it was disputed. But I just wanted to put that in record, Chair. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Edwards. Karen, do you want to come on there? Are you okay with that there? No.
Yeah, Chair, in 2 contexts, obviously the management of outlying pitches is one of those things that does present us with difficulties. We'll certainly see how much capacity we maybe have through our community safety wardens team to do some inspections in the area and sort of keep it under review. I suppose on a second matter, and I suppose it's more the issue in regard to staffing. And obviously, I suppose there are processes in place where where both officers and councillors can raise issues. But it's just to note that at the full council meeting last month, we did note that and the concerns that were expressed about information that had been provided to members in relation to the abuse of staff. So we've listened to what was said at that meeting and note that the reference was made to some issues around non-COVID compliance and an incident of verbal abuse. It was made clear that these incidents were the exception rather than the rule, but regretfully, these types of incidents do and have occurred and have been reported to us by staff and have been dealt with appropriately. It would appear that some members may have formed the view that these comments were made in relation to matters which were the specific aspect of an ongoing investigation. This wasn't the case. No reference was made to any specific incident, and any comments made by staff did not refer to any matter which was a subject of an ongoing investigation. So members, it's just to clarify that, to be clear from a management perspective on our position. Thank you.
I just want to thank Karen for correcting the record there. Thanks very much, Karen. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Edwards. Thank you, Karen. Councillor Harkin.
There, just quickly, yes, HC 103 20/21 advice services, and we've had a number of discussions now here at the committee, but also at the full council regarding some issues around advice services that are quite important. And all the councillors will have received through the week an update from our CEO, John Kelpie, regarding some actions that are being taken. And I just want to ask from officers, so there, it says that there's an options paper may be developed for consideration, and that there's also an internal audit regarding some of the concerns raised. So if could an officer just give an update on where we are in terms of progressing that and what we can kind of expect, because this will have a bearing as well on the advice services working group panel when it next meets, and a number of us are obviously on that from here. Thank you.
Chair, I can update in part in terms of the actions that the Chief Executive outlined, which fall to myself and my team. So yes, we are preparing a paper taking into consideration the various comments and issues that have been raised, and would be our intention to bring that paper to the June meeting. That said, the other aspects of work that the Chief Executive has directed need to happen in parallel, and we'll bring those timelines together to ensure that members are given a fully rounded and comprehensive report at that stage.
Okay, thank you, Karen, for that. Sandra? Councillor Duffy, go ahead there.
Yeah, it's just on that same item around advice services. I know that we have all received an email yesterday in terms of Rosemount Resource Centre, and I was wondering if that was going to then be tied in to the fact-finding preliminary audit that the CEO, John Kelpie, has instigated in terms of advice services, because from my reading of it, and I have reached out to some of the people who have put their names to the letter, that there is advice services included within that service. So is that going to be included?
Chair, the correspondence that you refer to has been received, and indeed I think just yesterday. The Chief Executive has had a very immediate response to that, and an internal process has begun to consider the detail of that. Not in position to clarify, what those detailed actions will be, but we're looking to see clearly what are the aspects that pertain to the council's remit and function in supporting the particular organisation, and in due course we'll be coming back to advise members when we've done our internal fact finding of any relevant and pertinent issues.
Okay, thanks, Karen. Are you okay then, Rory? You don't need on, no?
I'm fine, Darren.
Okay.
My view on the advice services panel is about the advice services that we actually fund, which is the Resource Centre, Advice Northwest and Dove House.
Okay. Everyone happy to move on? Yeah. Karen, you okay with everything there? Yeah. Move on to the next item. Yeah. So item 9, proposed shared management agreement to Hillcrest Trust for management of Crotty Road grass training pitch, and that's Barry.
Thanks, Chair. Members, the purpose of the report is to seek your approval to enter into discussions to provide a shared management agreement to Hillcrest Trust for the management of the new Crotty Road grass training pitch. Members, you'll be aware that a report came in recent months with regards to one element of this project, and both of these were funded by the Social Investment Fund. One of them a full-size floodlit grass pitch with changing, and an additional grass pitch that this report refers to, adjacent to the new community centre on top of the hill. construction is complete and the grass pitches are now ready for use, members. You recall in March we agreed to enter into discussions for a long-term lease for the other pitch to an appears to Derry Trasna. As anticipated, that the grass training pitch beside the community centre is available for all users within the wider community, not just Gaelic games. So if approved, members, council officers will initiate discussions with Hillcrest Trust and a shared management agreement we developed through the council legal department and would outline the legal requirements of each party. The shared management agreement would outline that Hillcrest Trust will take responsibility for management of the facility, including all bookings and access to the training pitch and ongoing maintenance for the grass area. So in terms of, there's no finance required from council for this, members, and this, as you're aware, will help us also address our deficit and our playing pitch strategy, where we've identified a deficit in training facilities. So in terms of recommendation, members approved the discussions to provide a shared management agreement to Hillcrest Trust for the management of the Karate Road grass training pitch. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you for the report. I've no indicated speakers. Can I have a proposer and seconder? Go ahead, Councillor Mooney.
Chair, from the outset, I should declare an interest. I'm a trustee on Hillcrest Trust, but I'm happy to propose the paper as it stands. Thank you, Chair.
Yeah.
Councillor Riley, you're happy to second.
That Martin, yeah. Okay, we'll move on to item 10, requirement to advertise entertainment license applications. So, Paul.
Thank you, Chair.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, the purpose of this report is to seek approval for a revision to our entertainment licensing procedure so that applicants are only required to place an advertisement in one local newspaper circulating within the local area. By way of background, with some exceptions for schools and places of religious worship, one of the requirements under the legislation is that within 7 days of making an application for an entertainment license, the applicant must give public notice of the application by publishing an advertisement in such newspapers circulating in the district as the council may require. And while the order does not specify a minimum number of newspapers in which the applicant must place advertisements, it has been council's policy to date that the advertisements are placed in 2 newspapers, which is determined by the location of the premises as detailed in the report. The purpose of these public advertisements is to bring the application to the attention of anyone who may wish to object to the application, and while we recognise that this is important, many question the effectiveness of public advertisements in doing this. In addition, council's requirement that public notices are placed in 2 local newspapers is at odds with other councils, the majority of which only require advertisement in 1 newspaper, and this still satisfies the requirements of the order. So it is recommended that in order to reduce the burden on entertainment businesses at this time, members approve a revision to our entertainment licensing procedure so that applicants are only required to place an advertisement in 1 local newspaper, which circulates widely within the locality in which the premises are situated. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you for that. Raymond, Councillor Barr has declared a pecuniary interest. Does he have to be removed? No, not being discussed. We're okay with it? Okay, Karen, yeah. Could I have a proposer and seconder for that?
So proposed, Chair. Alderman Morris to Benny. I think it's prudent, and as I did say there, it will reduce the burden on the cost coming in, so it will, but happy to propose it, Chair.
Yeah, okay, thank you, Morris. And a seconder?
Happy to second, Chair.
Okay. Thanks, Chair. Open for information. Item 11, industrial pollution prevention and control. Paul McSwiggan.
Yep. Thank you, Chair. It's just a matter for information for members.
I think everybody's happy enough. I'll take the items 12 and 13 together. Everyone happy enough with them? Yeah. Stephen.
Can I just come in there under correspondence, if it's okay? Is that okay, Chair?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
And just page 99 and 100, the response from the BMA. I'm just wondering, have Western Urgent Care been added to the list of deputations to the committee? Have they been asked to come to the committee? I do think it's important that that they're brought in. We can try and hear what their plans are for the future, especially of out of hours care in the area. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Edwards. Karen?
Chair, just to confirm, yes, they are on our list. We've tried to schedule as many as we could within the term of this committee. And unfortunately, they weren't available for the June meeting, so the request from the trust then took priority over that. But we're scheduling those subject to available slots in members' diaries. So we'll have a date hopefully confirmed shortly.
Okay, thank you, Karen. Everyone happy to move on there? If we move on the confidential, kind of a proposer and seconder.
Benny.
Yeah.
Second, Alderman Wark.
Okay, thank you.